Hello, my lovely students. How are you? Welcome in your science classes for the sixth primary stage for the first term lessons. And this is year 2025-2026. Here is me, Miss Shaimaa Hamdy Qasim, and I'm happy that I will be with you to teach you science for this year. So, are you ready? Here we have concept 1 from unit 1. And this concept has a title, The Cell as a System. We studied before the word system. System means, yes, group of things that work together to do specific function. So here we will see how the cell work as a system. So here, before we start, we have this picture. I want from you to guess the picture. What is this picture? And this picture is taken from the under a microscope. So it's a picture under a microscope. So what are those small circles in red? Do you know? If you said those are cells, so you are right. So as we noticed here, that cells, most of cells are very tiny, very, very small, that we can't see them with our naked eyes. We need a microscope to see them. So let us start our lesson today. Here in today's lesson, lesson 1, we will describe why cells are called the building blocks of life. And then we will go with the characteristics of different cells. And finally, we have the cell needs. So let's start our lesson. First of all, what is a cell? Cell is the main building unit of living organism's body. So what is the meaning of main building unit of the living organism's body? As the body of any organism consists of, yes, systems. As we studied before, we studied the nervous system, we studied the digestive system, we studied respiratory system and others. Yeah. So each system is consists of organs. Yes, as the nervous system consists of the brain, the spinal cord, and the nerves. Each one of those is organ, and each organ is consists of many tissues. Okay, and each tissue consists of group of cells. As the cell here is a building unit, as a group of cells can form tissue, and group of tissues can form organs, and the organs form system, and many systems form the body. So here the cell, we can say this is the main building unit. Okay, this is for the first part, as the cell is the main building unit of the living organism's body that carries out all its vital activities. So carries out all its vital activities. This is the function of the cell, as it do all the vital activities. Vital activities means the life process activities, like what? Yeah, like growth, like respiration. So which part is responsible for doing these vital activities? The answer will be the cell. This is not the only function for the cell, as the cell can repair the damaged tissue or cells. Did you ask yourself before, when you get hurt and after a few days this injury is gone and your skin became normal again? So how this happens? As the cells repair the damaged tissues or cells. So here the cell is the main building unit, in the living organism's body. It carries out the vital activities like respiration, growth, and other life processes. Also, it's responsible for repairing damaged tissues. A very important question is, where are cells found? We mentioned that they are the main building units in the living organism's body. So that means that is found only in the living organism's bodies? Yes. Cells are found only in the living organisms' bodies, like what? Like plant, like animals, human, also like bacteria. Bacteria is a living thing because it grow and it make the vital activities. Okay, so cells are not found in. There is no cells in. Yes, non-living things. Non-living things like what? Like air, like water, like rocks, like any object around us, like chair or table, all of them are non-living things. So cells are found only in living things. As some living organisms, like the humans, like the plants, like the animals, are consisting of what? Yes, are consisting of many cells, as trillions of cells. So we call them multicellular organisms, as they have many cells that compose their bodies. But in the other hand, we have some living organisms like the bacteria. It has only one cell, as all her body is consists of only one cell. So it's very tiny. We can't see bacteria with our naked eyes. We need microscope to see the bacteria because its body is consists of one cell, and we call it unicellular organism. Unicellular means one cell. So cells are the building blocks for the living organism's body, and cells are the basic structural, as this is the building unit, also basic functional, as the cell do the activities, which is vital activities. So we see here in this picture, we have many shapes of cells. As the green one, this is a plant cell, and the blue one, this is the animal cell that found in animals and human. And the elongated one, this is the bacteria cell or the bacteria body because it consists of one cell. So they differ in their shapes, as you see. Also, most of the cells are tiny, very, very small, as they range in size from zero point 0.1 millimeter to 0.005 millimeter in length. And this is very, very small, it is part of millimeter. But not all cells are tiny. We have some cells that are big. As you see here, the bird's egg. The bird's egg is consists only of one cell. So this is an example for a big cell that we can see with our naked eyes. So the bird cells, I mean the bird's egg, we can see it with our naked eyes because it is big enough that we can see it. So here we have a very important question. Think. Living organisms grow and reproduce by which one? Increasing the size of the cells or increasing the number of the cells? As we know that living organisms undergo or do the vital activities like growth and reproduction, and the cell is responsible for these life processes. So, how for the living organisms to grow? By increasing the size of the cell, it go bigger and bigger, or increasing the number, as if it's one cell, it becomes two, and two becomes four, and so on. So, if your answer that living organisms grow and reproduce by increasing the number of cells, so you are right. You are very smart. So here, by increasing the numbers of the cell, the organisms can grow and reproduce. As we mentioned, that living organisms composition may be like the human body. It has many cells, as trillions of cells. Okay, so we call it multicellular living organism, or these living organisms consists only of one cell, so we call it unicellular, as bacteria. Here we finish the first point about the cell as a building unit. Here we have the second point that we need to cover, which is the characteristics of cells. So as you see here in this picture, those are cells. And as you see, they look different from each other. It's not they aren't similar. Yeah. So the first thing here from the characteristics of cells, that not all cells are identical. So they aren't identical. They are different from each other. Also, if we see the another difference, that not all cells have cell wall. As here we have the plant cell, the green one, different from the others, as it has this green border. It's called the cell wall, and this is for the plant cells only. It doesn't found in the animal cells. So not all cells have cell wall. Also, nucleus. Nucleus is a circle in the center of the cell that we will study after a while and in the next lessons. So, nucleus, we represent it by circle, and if we see those examples of cells, we will see one of them that haven't this circle in the center, the first one, as those are the red blood cells, and they don't continue or consist of or don't have nucleus. So you get it. So the differences between the cells, as they look different from each other, this is the first one, they aren't identical. The second thing, that some cells don't have cell wall or nucleus, but the similarities, that all cells have cell membrane, and we will study it, the membrane that protects the cell. So here we will cover the last point that we have today in our lesson. What do cells need? So let us think about this question. We know that the cells are responsible for the vital activities, okay, like growth, reproduction, respiration, and the other vital activities. So what do cells need to do this function? Yes, of course, it needs energy, and it gets the energy from foods as a nutrients that we eat, and oxygen. So here the cells need energy from food and oxygen. Also, it needs water to stay alive. And also, cells need to get rid of the waste material, as when the cells do this function, so there are waste materials that the cell needs to get rid from them. So here, the answer for this question will be that cells need energy from nutrients or food and oxygen. Also, it needs water to stay alive and to get rid of the waste materials. So we have two important things, that it needs energy and to get rid of the waste materials. Also, it needs water to stay alive. We mentioned that all cells have cell membrane, and the cell membrane, this is the dark blue thing that's around the cell, okay, in the picture. So how does the cell get its needs of water? How the cell get its needs of water? So here, as yes, water enters the cell. So which part is responsible for entering the water into the cell? Yes, the cell membrane. Okay, so here the cell membrane allows water to enter and exit the cell according to its needs. If the cell doesn't want water anymore, so the cell membrane will allow the water to exit, to go out from the cell. So here the cell keeps the water balance. What the meaning of water balance? This is a very important thing, that the both sides of the cell membrane, outside the cell and inside the cell, there is balance, okay? And why this happens? As imagine that the cell has much water than it needs. So what will happen in this case? As you see here in this picture, what happens if there is much water enters the cell will swell and will full with water, okay, and until it bursts. Burst mean blow up or explode. So the cell will die. So here the water balance is very important, and the cell membrane helps the cell to keep the water balance, as it allows the water to enter and exit from the cell according to its needs. With this information, we finished the first lesson. I hope it was easy and nice. So thank you for watching. See you next video, inshallah. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share my channel. And goodbye.